Now, I want to talk about something that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time, and to be completely honest, I think it's something that needs to be said. And while I was piecing this together, I was browsing around on the internet, and I found an article that had been read in about 30 minutes before I got on the computer. And I'm going to read the title of this article to you. It's "Reluctant Slackers, the Economy Leads Young Americans to Put Adulthood on Hold." Now, let me just tell you what this article is about. It was on Yahoo, and basically what it is, it's a pity party for the people of today who have just graduated college and they're all looking for a job and they can't find a job and they're living with their parents. That's basically what this article is about. And there is a quote at the end of this article. This is a young woman named Jill. She lives with her parents. She has a master's degree in literature. She's from Austin, Texas. And she says, I've kind of lost hope in the American dream. And I want to address that. And I want to ask you a few questions. Why do you think obesity is at an all-time high right now? Okay, lazy. Okay, I've got a few things I want to ask you. What about healthcare costs? Why are healthcare costs at an all-time high?
Because the lazy people get supported by the government.
The lazy people get supported by the government. Okay, so you're going into this the welfare aspect, perhaps. Okay, ADHD medication. 5 million children are on ADHD medication. More than 1 million, in fact, closer to 2, don't even need it or are technically misdiagnosed. 30 million Americans are on antidepressants. 40 million Americans are smokers, and 20 million, half of those, claim to have tried to quit, but they can't. What am I getting at right now? I've heard lazy, weak, and our fault. What I want to get at is that we as a society are becoming weak. We are a generation of excuses. Do you see what I'm getting at? And I'm going to be quite frank, it's depressing and it's really ticking me off. And it should tick you guys off. We are a generation of excuses. I want to give you some quotes, two very important quotes, and I really want you to think about these quotes. Seriously, I want you to think about what I'm fixing to say here. Quote, "If we perceive ourselves as having power and control, we have it." If we perceive ourselves as having power and control, we have it. On the same token, the second part of this is that if we perceive ourselves as powerless, we are. If we perceive ourselves as powerless, we are. Do you see where I'm getting at right now? So we as a nation, we feel like we're powerless, we're out of control, we're always looking for a handout, we're looking at a solution to our own problems, but we don't want to garner the solution one ourselves, we want the solution handed to us. And it's really sad. Suicide rates, they're up there. Are they the highest they've ever been? No, but they are up there and they're climbing the past few years. Just one of the many statistics that is getting my point across of why I want to talk about what I'm calling crutches or voids. We have these different things in our life that we're trying to use as crutches. Let me ask you a question. What about pills that make you lose weight or claim to make you lose weight? How popular are they? Extremely. I'm going to tab down a little bit on my notes here because I want to make a few points. If someone feels they have to take pills to lose weight, they're underestimating how in control they really can be. They're underestimating how much power they have. Are you getting what I'm saying right now? If a parent feels like they have to give their kids medication because they're too active, I'm not going to say 100% of the time, but a lot of the times that parent doesn't recognize the control they have and should be taking. Do you understand? What about nicotine gum and nicotine patches? I told you that 20 million Americans claim to have tried to stop smoking, but they can't. Welfare. How ridiculous is welfare? People are living solely off the government, and I'm not going to say, again, 100% of the time, but because they don't want to get a job or they don't understand the power they have to succeed. You understand what I'm getting at? Antidepressants. How many people did I tell you on antidepressants? 30 million Americans are on antidepressants. They want to change their physiological makeup because they can't, with an external source, because they can't do it themselves. Guess what? If somebody wants to be depressed, they're going to be depressed. That's why 60% of people who take antidepressants are still depressed. Everybody cool? Everybody got it? We've got bracelets that you can wear to make you improve your balance, or at least make you think you can improve your balance. Necklaces that'll improve your blood flow. Needles you can poke in your body to experience the peacefulness and focus on your chi. And if you've got a weight you can shake to get nice toned shoulders and arms. My point is, it's ridiculous. Do you see the crutches that I'm referencing right now? If you are having to lean on these crutches, you don't understand the mind power, the control you really have. My point is as a society, we need to stop the excuses. Now, how many people are really going to stop the excuses? Very few. Why? Because very few people are going to tap into the mind power they have. If you feel like you need a crutch, you don't understand how much power you have. I love hearing about people who have tapped into this mind power. I love it. Wait just a second. Have you heard of a man called Dean Karnazes? Some people say Karnazes. I may be mispronouncing it. I want you to look this guy up. He's an ultra-marathon runner. He has really tapped into the power of the mind. Literally, his feats are unbelievable. His physical ability is something that is unbelievable because he's tapped into the power of the mind. What about other people in history? Now, I'm not talking about wellness and fame. Fame and fortune doesn't necessarily mean that that person is tapped into the potential of the mind. Why? Because some people, that isn't their objective. What I'm getting across to you today is, think of what you want, what you really, really, really want. And everybody's got a desire. But the problem is, that's just the desire is not going to get you where you want. You've got to understand your capability and reach toward it with action. Those are the two components that people are missing in today. That's why we have all these ridiculous crutches. Everybody's got the desire for change, for improvement, but they don't have the understanding of their capability to do so, and they don't have the action. And they don't have the action because they don't understand their own capability. Got it? Do you have a question?
They don't have any self-motivation at all.
Okay. So he talked about people who want to stop smoking and they can't because they don't have self-motivation. Let me explain something about smoking. Smoking, people who are addicted, there's a physiological addiction, meaning that people have to smoke cigarettes in order to feel normal. In order to ease potential anxiety, to not get headaches, they have to smoke. But the power, the physiological changes of intention will outweigh the physiological changes of that nicotine. But it comes down to, are you willing to face that battle? And people are always willing to face that battle with these ridiculous crutches because they don't understand the power they have in here. The power of intention. Do you understand? You got me. Don't rely on these crutches. And we as a society are doing just exactly that. Obesity. Childhood obesity and adult obesity are an epidemic and it's rising. Antidepressant use, rising. ADHD medication, rising. Why? Because we are a generation of excuses. We as a generation need to stop the BS, and that's exactly what it is. It's all BS, guys. You're capable of so much more than you think, and I really want to get that across to you right now. Capable, any objective you set is reachable under your own power. But when you start relying on crutches, you start dropping your goals, your objectives. Why? Because you don't think you have the capability alone to reach them. Everybody cool? I want to end with two quotes really quickly. This is Dean Karnazes, the guy that I was telling you about, the ultra-marathon runner. You've got to read his story. I'm not going to go into this guy, but he is absolutely amazing. He says, the human body has limitations. The human spirit is boundless. I would like to synonymize spirit at this point with your own mentality, your own mindset. The human body has limits, but your mind, your spirit is boundless. Your mind is boundless. Nothing is impossible when you have your mind right. And this is my favorite one. This says, a man is but the product of his thoughts. What he thinks, he becomes. And I'm not trying to be a sexist, ladies. We know that's across both genders. When a woman is but a product of her thoughts, what she thinks, she becomes. That was Gandhi. He had the fame, but not because he wanted it. He didn't have the fortune, but he was an incredibly influential person. And he achieved his goal. Any questions?